All right, seriously, we're talking about how to sit in an airplane like that's one of the most basic things there is, but we're not going to waste any time here. We're going to get to it because it is important that you be sitting and touching and feeling and everything the correct way. So for starters, we get into the airplane, we slide our seat up. Where should we be placing our seat? Well, we need to be close enough that we can reach things, but we need to be aware that our legs do not get locked. So if we go stop to stop on the rudder pedals and we actually lock our knee, then we are too far back. We need to be sitting further forward. If you lock your knee, that is a great way during flight training or any time as a pilot to accidentally lock down a control. And if you get tense, if you get a Charlie horse, if you are just a little nervous, you can accidentally lock out a control where the instructor may not be able to overcome you, or you may not be able to overcome yourself by pressing on the other pedal. So close enough that your knees never lock. Another important thing to talk about here, where you put your feet on the rudder pedals. Up here is brakes, down here is rudder. So we push on the bottom of the pedals to work the rudder, and then we slide our feet up and we push on the brake. Yes, there is some delay in moving your feet up there. We do not land the airplane with our feet high because inevitably we will push on the rudder and accidentally be pushing on the brake. So you can see here, when I push at the top, that pedal is connected from between the left seat and the right seat. That is working the brake. All right, if I want to work the rudder, I just push at the very bottom. All right, this is a great way to flip over a tailwheel airplane. If you push on the brakes while you're landing, it's a great way to put flat spots and tear up tires on nose wheel aircraft when you're landing if you have your feet too high. So when you're on short final, good thing to tell yourself is feet low on the pedals, among all the other things you're telling yourself, like, hey, mixture rich, carpet on, all that good stuff. Next up, how to hold the yoke. We don't hold it like this. We don't even hold it like this. We hold it with just a few fingertips, and we have light fingertip pressure on there, just enough to push forward with your thumb and enough to pull back with a few fingertips there. And we do not squeeze. You don't write your name holding a pencil like this. You write your name holding a pencil lightly, and it looks pretty. And if you hold it like this, it looks ugly. So we have a nice light grip on the controls there. How do we move the throttle? We always use our pointer finger up against the base plate there on the friction lock and then make small adjustments in and out. If we want to set the throttle 1/8 of an inch open, I pull my finger back 1/8 of an inch, I push in until it touches. If I want to set the throttle 1/2 inch open, I pull my finger back 1/2 inch, I push it till it opens. I don't just try to ballpark it and guess it in somewhere around there. I definitely don't grab the throttle like this and push it in for takeoff because it will not be very nice to the engine. I make small adjustments and I use my finger to brace myself. While we're on that note of bracing ourselves there with our finger, anytime we're using these switches, I touch the panel and grab the switch like this, all right? I don't just reach up here and grab it because in turbulence, you're gonna be bouncing around. Little airplanes do bounce around. So we want to brace ourselves as we push these buttons. Same thing here. I don't just reach up and press the flip-flop key because I'll probably wind up pressing something else or slipping off and turning something I don't mean to. So I always try to brace myself with another finger or something as I'm working buttons and switches. Next to talk about, where are we overall sitting? Now we talked about how close we are, but how about height-wise? What is our sight picture and what do we see out the front of the airplane? That is super critical here. So critical, in fact, that every airliner out there actually has little balls, 3 little balls, 2 here, 1 there, and the captain can raise his seat and slide his seat forward and back until those 2 balls get in alignment. Same thing for the first officer or the co-pilot. So it is so critical to have your eyes in the right plane so that you actually can see over the cowling, see what's going on. A very common problem when I see students who cannot seem to land the airplane very well or have a real hard time judging height and being able to flare the airplane and not keeping the nose straight during the landing flare is because they're oftentimes sitting too low. There's no shame in using a cushion. All right, I had to when I was going through training. It's normal to have to, if you're a little vertically challenged, to have to sit on a cushion, either putting one behind your back to push you forward if the seat doesn't go any further forward, putting one underneath your butt to raise you up. Your eyes should be fairly high here. You don't want your head touching the ceiling. There should be a couple inches there, but your eyes should be high enough that you can see over the cowling, and I certainly see the cowling. If the instrument panel is blocking your view to where you cannot see any part of the cowling, then you are sitting far too low in the airplane. If you also want to sort of get an idea of if you're high enough or low enough, well, look over at your flight instructor, and wherever their eyes are is probably a good bet of where your eyes should be. So that's what I got for you in this video of how to touch things, how to sit, how to do all that. Important stuff. I know it's not the most riveting stuff, but important. Any questions, you know what to do. Leave it in the comments below. If you cannot fly every day, fly at MikeAlpha.com, and we will see you guys in the next short, not so exciting, but important video.